Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, we want to welcome you once again to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, with us, Angel Rebo, CEO, consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is going to be interviewing Mrs. Leslie Bennett. She is the founder of the Mia Anemia Foundation and Soul-Jym. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia is a non-profit organization. Our mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is going to benefit from the content that we are going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, we're going to have the active chat open. The screen that you're going to be seeing here on my side, through there, you can interact with us, ask your questions, and we also want to invite you to visit Mindalia Televisão in Portuguese, Mindalia Televisión in Spanish. There we are broadcasting from Monday to Friday content as beautiful and interesting as the one that you see daily on Mindalia TV. Angel, I'm going to leave the screen to you. Welcome to Mindalia live streaming.
For the introduction, and welcome to Mindalia TV. Leslie, how are you?
I'm great. How about yourself? This is great.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. We are so thrilled and so excited to have you here. So thank you for accepting the invitation. And let's start. What is a Soul-Jym with a J? What is that?
Yeah. So we have fitness gyms to work out the body, but we don't have a place to go to work out the soul gym, for a soul. So I created this idea of a soul gym to go when we need to work on ourselves, our inner selves, our soul selves. And so it's a way to get into soul shape or get into spiritual fitness, if you will.
Why do you think that people need to be in a spiritual fitness?
So I think the best way to say it is through my own journey. I lost my husband unexpectedly about 5 years ago, and I needed to work through the grief. And there's a few places you can go. I did do traditional therapy, but I supplemented it with spiritual work. I went to mediums. I went to meditation. I had to reconstruct my life. And doing so, there weren't a lot of tools to do that. And so I would have loved a daily place to go, like I would have gone to work out my body, to work out some of these questions that I had. So that's why I think a soul gym is necessary.
And how do you think that helped you? Your spiritual journey helped you?
Yeah. So I went from pain and destruction and despair to someone who's in love with life again. I'm in such joy. I can't believe that, because when I think back 5 years ago and where I was trying to find a reason to stay on the planet, right? And something to do with my life, because I didn't know what else to do I lost my husband suddenly. So if I had a place to go, to feel happy, to work through these issues, to heal what was broken, my heart, I think it would have been so much helpful than going from workshop to workshop to workshop. It would have been nice to have a daily sort of spiritual practice and be in spiritual fitness.
Who do you think is going to be the audience? The people that are going to go to the soul gyms moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's 3 different types of individuals that go, right? Those that have had a life-changing event. Myself, it was grief. It could be a loss of a job. It could have been, a loss of a family member, something where they need to work out. So I call it life transition. It also could be a life transition through disease. So you've got a deadly disease type of diagnosis, and you need to figure out from a soul perspective what that means, and could I heal from that even? And then there's those that I call that have an existing spiritual practice and just want to enhance it. So those types of individuals would also benefit from a gym, because sometimes having a spiritual practice at home can be a challenge. Because I know when I go into meditation, when I'm at home, I kept thinking about, I got to do the laundry, I've got to go pay the bills or something like that. So I think having a place to go to help support those spiritual practice could be beneficial. The last category I would say would be those that are spiritual enthusiasts, or sometimes you call them spiritual junkies, that just love these unfolding of the unknown. And so this place would support that quest. So
I love that expression of unfolding of the unknown. What do you, according to your experience, what can that represent in someone's life? The unfolding of the unknown.
Yeah, I think it's a freedom. So if I think about, if you feel like, okay, let me phrase this in a way that I can unpack it, is that when I was in grief, I limited myself as to what I should do. I'm a widow. I can't fall in love again. I can't find another love of my life. But when you get into a spiritual practice, you can break down those barriers and feel limitless, be limitless. And as you get deeper and deeper into the spiritual work, you get more and more free. You find you're limitless, you're boundless, you have so much energy. You can just be in love with life and just feel the passion that everything is there for you. And we're so programmed to not feel that way.
And where did the idea of calling your center Soul-Jym, and Jym with a J as opposed to a G?
Yeah. So I wanted to make the distinction from a G-Jym, because that's more about the body, getting the body in shape, the outer body. The Jym with a J was really to work on the inner side, our inner beauty, our inner muscle, our inner soul muscles.
And that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
The soul.
Soul.
So you definitely
it's
want
really for that.
To...
It's that inner work. I mean, everyone. We're seeing an awakening of people. Their interest in this to get that mind-body connection. But when people start to make the mind-body connection, that just encourages them to want to go deeper. And so, what does that look like? When we've known that, there's a distrust in it because it's not tangible to us. And so one of the things we want to do at Soul-Jym is bring in science and technology to help validate some of that unknown, so that some of us that are skeptics, myself included, can have something that will help support seeing and feeling what it is that they're experiencing at a spiritual level.
When you were introduced, we're using the name of the organization that you are president of. It's called Mia Anemia, right?
Yeah, correct.
Could you tell us a little bit more what that means?
It means my soulness.
In Latin?
So it's derived from the Latin word for soul,
okay,
which is, if you were to translate soul into Latin, it's anima.
Okay.
Excuse me. In Latin, it is anima mia.
Okay.
Enema doesn't sound very friendly, but we flipped it, so it went mia and enema, but we added an M in there, and so it's anima mia. And so we saying that mia and that mia at the end, and blending it, there's a soulness, and when someone's in peak spiritual fitness, they experience a oneness. So that's why we call it my soulness, and that's what Mia Anemia stands for.
And is an organization, it's like what is in charge of organizing all the soul gyms?
Yeah, so the soul gyms will be called Mia Anemia.
Okay.
And it will be a soul gym. So
okay.
It's just easier to say Soul-Jym, but Mia Anemia is what the names of the gyms.
What would you say that people need the most today? I mean, normal people on the streets, I mean, your neighbors, your friends, your relatives, what do you think that they need from a spiritual perspective, Leslie?
I think two of the hardest lessons for me was loving myself and my self-worth. And I think getting through those and working through those will help them become boundless, limitless, and back to joy.
How can we, or what could we teach to normal people on the streets so that they feel worthy?
Self-worth it?
Yeah.
I think asking the question, why not? One of the things is, why can't you open a soul gym? Or why can't you find the next love of your life again? Why not? And I think when you start thinking about that and marinating on that, well, why not start Mindalia TV? Why not? why not have these conversations with very spiritual people? And in doing that, you become it. And so I think that's a big question. Why not you?
How long do you think that the why not effect can last within a day?
Yeah, I think it's up to the person.
Okay.
I think it's very individual, because there are days where that I'm like, yeah, right. And then that's a day. Then you kind of go, well, why not? It's a reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? You know, it's different reflections.
What would you say, besides, obviously you've spoken about the grief that you had for the loss of your husband. Has there been any other, episodes in your life that you think that also have made Leslie the person that you are today?
Well, I would say I've gone through job loss. I was involved with 3 layoffs. And so there's a transition there too. And so there was a period where I was on the loss treadmill, right? I lost my mom, I lost a job. I lost my husband, I lost a job. So it felt like all that was leading up to, I could have gone down a path of I'm a loser because I'm a lot, I can lose. But instead I used that as momentum to rebuild and reconstruct who I am.
How could you do it?
How did I do it? I went to workshops and I talked to spiritual teachers and really tried to go, what is it that I want for my life?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that I want to do? Where do I find joy? And for some reason, sometimes I had to battle for that. What is it that makes me happy? And when you're in sadness and in grief and in loss, finding that answer to that question is not easy. Absolutely not. And sometimes you have to pretend to like things just to see if you like them. So it's just a matter of you got to keep stepping forward, keep stepping.
Do the people around you understand your path?
Some do and some don't. A lot of them are curious, which I find interesting. What's really cool about my path is that you could play the widow card, and in that card, I was always open and vulnerable because no one was going to attack me. And so I shared everything that I was doing, because at that point I had lost everything and I didn't care if I was judged. So I just shared it. And if people wanted to know more, I was happy to share. And if they wanted to judge, that was their problem and their business. And I knew that. So it gave me such freedom. And in that freedom, so many wonderful, great things happened for me.
How have you been able to keep that freedom? Or do you still have it?
That's a good question. I would say I've kept it, but it felt more freer in those first couple yeand I don't know if it was masked because of the pain and not really caring, but there is still that freedom here, and the judging that does come, it comes from me and my self-judging that I didn't necessarily have when you're in pain because you didn't care. So that's I would say the only difference. But that's a great question.
Thank you. If you were to explain someone, what the next steps in your spiritual life are going to be, what would you say they're going to be?
I think it's diving deeper into the unknown. I think there's so much that we don't know that we know, or don't know that we don't know, and I am enjoying that exploration, because as each experience I go deeper into it and my mind gets blown as to, is that even possible? I love that, because I think there's so many things that are possible that we have chosen not to accept them as possible. And so I think that's really cool.
That's beautiful. Hey, Leslie, I really wanted to say thank you for allowing us to interview you today and to get to know your personal journey. I think it's extremely rich and inspiring. Really, thank you. Thank you very much. Before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. Our Mia Anna Mia Facebook page is going to go live on November 11th. And we do have a webpage of Mia Anna Mia. And if that's not easy to get to, you can also get to us by Soul-Jym. We do have one page up right now, but we're going to do a bigger launch on November 11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much again, Leslie, for being with us today. And again, this is Angel Rebo with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much for being with us today, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.